Hi, Rob. How are you?
Hi, Lucas. I'm very well indeed.
So, how long have we been working for? I think it has been around 10 months or so.
Um, Actually, yeah, it's probably about 11
Yeah,
months.
11 months. Okay.
It's a big step up for me, having not
Yeah.
done any proper training for years. So it was a big move just after I retired.
Yeah.
So really,
You did mention that before starting going to the gym, you were playing football recreationally with your friends and everything. Is that right?
I used to, yeah, but again, over recent years, that's got less and less. Yeah, mainly keeping fit, just walking and doing general things around the house. So again, my job that I did was very much sat down at a desk most of the time. So you get out of the habit of doing all the things that you should do to keep your body fit and healthy.
Yeah. So, what was your initial goal whenever you joined Total Fitness?
My initial goal again was really twofold. First one, general fitness, because I've got a family history with my father and my brother both having heart problems.
Mm,
So one of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that I was able to carry on in a good state of health because I've just retired and move forward and enjoy the next 20, 25 years in good health and being able to do all the things that I wanted to do. So that was my primary goal. And the second one was when I met you, I think one of the first things we discussed was that I had real problems with my right shoulder.
yeah.
And I'd had that probably for 2 or 3 years, and it was causing me real problems. So that was one of the things I sort of put on your agenda to say, if we're going to do this, that needs sorting. So those were the two main ones that drove me.
Yeah. I think us dealing with your right shoulder and spending a little bit of time just focusing on those things, once we've dealt with that or strengthened your shoulder enough to allow you to focus more so on bigger movements like compound lifts, we did see quite a bit of progress, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Again, that was probably one of the most surprising things for me. I didn't realize what I was capable of. I think starting out, it was really let's just do some easy movements, get the shoulder moving again, get general all round fitness going. And then you sort of introduced me to some things that I looked at and thought, no, I'm not going to be able to do those. Again, we ran through quite a number of, well, I think probably three, maybe four main areas that you got me on sort of major movements.
Yeah.
The deadlift, which I find quite interesting and challenging,
Yeah.
improved
Taxing quite a bit.
improved massively. I managed to get up to 100 kilos, which I was very pleased with.
Yeah. And on our last session, we did get a personal record again.
Yeah, so that was good. Military press. I think we started off probably about 10 kilograms.
Yeah, I think
And
10, 15 kilograms with the less wide bars, so just about our shoulder width.
that's right. I had no stability to be able to do with the longer bars, which you helped me get right. And then with the military press, I got up to 40 kilograms doing that,
40
which,
kilograms.
yeah, again, which sounds insane, really, given the
Yeah.
starting point that we
Yeah.
went from.
That's what? That's more than half of your body weight, isn't that right?
Oh, yeah, well over more than half my body weight. So not bad at all.
Yeah. And I
Quite
think in
pleased with that.
yeah, in less than 1 year to achieve that, quite a few people they would need quite a bit of dedication to get to that point.
Yeah, I think the main thing is I think this is one of the things that you've managed to persuade me as we went through all this that I was capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And I think if we didn't get that support and that guidance and that mentoring to move forward, I wouldn't have believed I could possibly get to that level. So again, that incremental growth, moving forward, carrying on doing it, and you saying actually you don't realize how strong you are. Yeah, so it's again front squats, you know, up to 60 kilograms we did with that on front
Yeah.
squats. I'm carrying on doing that as well, which is important. I did
Yeah,
55 yesterday, which I was
55. Okay.
quite pleased with. So I'm keeping up at that level.
Yeah, keep going.
And the other one that I really enjoy doing was the bench pressing with, and I think we got up to about 22 and a half. So
20
we
years,
were up
yeah.
to that we were starting. So, again, from an incredibly low baseline to be able to do those things, I think it's testament to what you managed to persuade me that I could do and gave me the technique to do.
Yeah. Working with you, it was kind of like seeing, okay, now we're going to be focusing on the very small movements. We're not going to have any big plans for the future. And after that point, once we started implementing progression systems and seeking bigger and bigger weights on our bigger movements, you were one of my clients that was reaching those weights, those numbers out of all the people that I've been working with. So you're kind of like setting, well, the new, okay, everybody needs to catch up in a sense, and the more of a community competitive spirit.
Yeah, well, so again, I know now, having spent time with you, that I can go beyond those if
Oh
I
yeah,
really, really want to.
yeah,
I could definitely push myself beyond those limits that I've already hit. But I think we all, as we go through it, we all have. It's never a linear trajectory. We all get injuries, we all get problems as we go along that route, and it's about part of what we've done through our training is being able to deal with those injuries, work through them, get them right, and then move back to moving up that progression. And I
yeah,
think that's one thing that people really do need to understand. And I think you do very well is help people as they're going along there, and any problems that you get, you change the focus to be able to sort those problems out before we move further.
yeah. I think there's always a way that you can proceed about going for heavy weights, but looking at what's conducive for long-term lifting and looking at what you want, achieving that, and then adding something on top just to complement your life that much more, which usually does result in focusing on strength. What
Yeah.
would you say was your biggest win in this experience that we had?
Um, I think when I started, I didn't know whether I would continue. So actually, one of the biggest win probably is that through what we've gone through, you've now got me to a point where I know I want to continue to be a gym member for the foreseeable future,
Yeah,
and to carry on doing that and to challenge myself and move forward. So it's breaking through that potential glass ceiling that's there, where you think I can't go beyond that. I'm not bothered about trying to get a, and you've broken me through there. That's then got me wanting to actually. I again back to what we said earlier. The limits. There's no
yeah,
limit, and why should you limit yourself? And there are also so many facets of what you can do in the gym as well, that if you keep broadening it out and giving new experiences as you move through that, it becomes exciting and challenging as you move. So in terms of that all-round win, that's what it is. It's that bigger, that confidence and that understanding that, yeah, I want to carry on doing this because this is great for me and really moves me forward. And if I had to pick out down into the specifics of what I've done, I say hitting those weights that I've done, yeah, those are just off the scale to what I ever thought I would be able to do.
yeah. I think it's quite important whenever you start lifting, just having smaller achievable goals. Like, let's say if you start off with only the bar, I think having something relatively close that is not going to take too much time. Maybe doing like a military press, a bar and 5 kilograms to the side, maybe even 2.5s. I think setting yourself up so that you would have consistent little wins, doesn't matter how insignificant they are, if you still see that you are moving upwards or you're moving the right direction, whether you feel better, you don't feel as tired afterwards, or you just have more support in terms of stability. Like, if you just see improvements all around, that's going to be neurologically stimulating. In other words, fun.
It is, and you introduced some sort of complementary activities along the route that help towards those key goals. Activities like pushing the bar over sort of 30, 35 kilograms over my head and walking with it.
Yeah.
And then having to turn around, press it again, and walk back, and doing that a couple of laps.
Yeah.
Doing that again, the first time you do that, it feels very odd and feels as though this is going to be impossible. And again, as you move through it, you realize no, it isn't at all. And I think you mentioned the word stability on all that. One of the things that I think all of us come through is we're slightly lopsided. We have a strong side and a weaker side.
Oh yeah.
And I think through activities that we did, you helped me balance that out, so that, you know, as we mentioned, we started with a short bar doing military press. We ended up with a long bar, and I don't think there was any movement at all, really, for whenever I was doing that, or whenever I'm doing front squats. There isn't. I'm quite level and balanced now because of the way that you've helped me build that sort of balancing out across the two sides.
Yeah. So if you had to meet the version of yourself that walked in Total Fitness on the first day, what would you tell to yourself or anybody that is thinking about going to the gym?
Oh, nowadays I definitely tell people that they should. I'm in the process of trying to persuade my wife that she should go to the gym as well, because I just feel the benefits of it. I really do. I think I can guarantee you now, though, that if I'd have, the other thing that I would say is make sure you have a personal trainer, because what we did moved me through. It not only just gave me the confidence and the technique to do everything, but it also allowed me to go into activities that I probably wouldn't have started to do, which would have then constrained the number of activities I would have done, which would have led me to become slightly bored in what I was doing. So the advice would be definitely go, definitely get a personal instructor who's going to help you move forward, and trust your personal instructor. You know, some of the things that you discussed with me, I thought you were crazy when you were telling me I could do some of these things. But eventually you took me to those, you set me some targets.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because you set me some targets that I thought were just utterly unachievable.
Yeah. What is this guy doing? Is he trying to transform me into something that I'm not?
Yeah. When you told me I could hit 40 kilograms on military press, I just thought that was just off the scale mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was probably doing 25s at that point and just about managing them. So yeah, that would be the thing that I would definitely say. You know, do gyms, but do get a personal instructor with it and keep that regular drumbeat going, because it's the thing that keeps you motivated, it keeps you focused, and it also means that any issues that you get along those routes, that personal instructor can help you overcome them and help you move forward in the right direction.
Yeah. So I think seeking guidance, especially if you're quite new or you're stagnating, I think that would be something beneficial, whether it's in form of content or just reading up upon. If you have somebody in the gym that you could just ask, not necessarily inquire about the services, but just have a conversation, I think that would be potentially beneficial.
I agree, and I wouldn't limit it to what you just said there about people who are new or stagnating. I think everybody could actually benefit from using the expertise of people like yourself to enhance what they're doing and enhance their program and their thought process that they're going through. So regardless of how good you are, again, because people who maybe can push more weight than you can could still learn from you about what they're doing and how they should be doing it.
Never happens. They could take it stronger, therefore knows more.
Yeah. It is. I think it isn't just about people who've got experience of doing lots of weightlifting themselves and strength activities. It's about people who understand what sits behind it.
Yeah.
So physically, your body might not be as big as some other people's bodies, but you can maximize what you get from what you do because you understand how to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't really realize after only after a few years of looking at other people and having some conversations. I think, yeah, it all comes back down to just discussing these things and then seeing what the other person is doing or what do they know, which I don't think happens enough, honestly, but you know, it's just life. Okay, so
Again, just one other thing I'd like to say as well that
yeah,
I think is important, and particularly about yourself, because I think one of the things that you did, you gave us almost a range of what we could do, and you broadened that out into activities outside the gym, about diet and exercise and things outside the gym. But what you didn't do was push it. What you did was put that as almost a menu of opportunities and activities
yeah,
and approaches that people could take. And some of those I didn't want to take, but most I did.
yeah,
And some other people will have done all of them. But I think the important thing is knowing how far your clients want to go in
yeah,
different areas. And you did that appropriately with me. And I thought
yeah,
that was really important, because the danger is if you push too hard, you could turn people off.
yeah,
But you found the right level to pitch it at with certainly with me. And I know you did with a couple of other people that I've talked to as well.
yeah. I think it's important to recognize what are, well, if you're working with a person, what are their goals, and then if you can achieve that and maybe give something on top, then they're getting more than they were expecting to. Okay, so last question is, so you basically answered this, but overall, if you had to give a straight answer, what was your experience working with me as a whole?
Well, right, again, as you say, I think I've answered that in
Yeah,
quite a lot of detail. You gave me a great program. You worked hard with me. You went over and above, and you pitched it at a level that um, actually motivated me to really move forward. And one thing that I just put in that people just won't know about, I ended up with a problem with my left shoulder, and I ended up going for a physio session for them to look at my left shoulder and understand what was wrong with it and give some guidance. You came along completely off your own bat. You were willing to do that. You didn't charge me at all for coming along and sitting in that session, but you wanted to come along to understand the message that was being passed so that you could almost interpret what the physio was saying, and
yeah,
you two could have that conversation that would help me, and it would allow you to build a program that would help with the rehabilitation of my shoulder. And again, for me, that meant a lot. I thought
yeah,
that was really special that you would do that. And I think people will find that they can get personal trainers who may, in terms of the baseline activities that they do what you do. But it's the fact that you added elements on top that really was what I appreciated and made me feel really valued as a customer and hopefully as a friend as well.
oh yeah, 100%, Rob. I mean, again, working with a lot of people throughout the year, I've had, well, as I said, I think in one of these other videos, I had the privilege of working with you guys and learning from you guys a lot as well. And I think it's well, if you're practicing personal training, it's important to make sure that you care. Of course, if you have a personality that's already cares about people, it's a little bit more conducive and easier. But just seeing and asking yourself, well, how can I, well, make people know that I actually do take this seriously and try to like show that I care. So yeah, I think it's overall from a perspective from a human relationship as well. Like I think that's just beneficial, and overall just an easier, a better time spent along later on once you've established a rapport at a certain level. Did I say that word
Yep,
right? Rapport. I don't think I did.
that's a great word.
Yeah.
Um, We did. I always felt comfortable coming in and having our sessions, and I think that is probably a really nice way to describe it. I felt comfortable in respect of I had confidence in the relationship. I had confidence in what you were doing with me, and that then allowed me to try and push myself and excel myself, but not in a way that I felt that somebody was putting pressure on me. It was you motivating me to the limits that I wanted to push myself.
Yeah.
And I
And
thought that was spot on.
yeah, and I mean the results were like, I mean, they were obvious. Like we were getting the records quite regularly. Like whenever we had to deal with something on the side and then take a step back from that, we dealt with it and then we got back quite fast.
Yep. And I think you gave me a benchmark and a baseline on which I'll carry on moving forward, hopefully for the rest of my life at the gym.
Okay, well, I'll make sure to ask you here and there about that just to keep you
I'm
still on
sure you
track.
will.
Okay, thanks, Rob.
Okay. Cheers, Lucas.